NBA totals. Here we go. We're live looking at some NBA totals today. For you new guys, this is a segment where we break down the totals set by odds makers, and we go ahead and try to beat that line, either going over or under. We got 3 games on the card today. Not a lot of games out there. But this is our ongoing segment that we're doing pretty much every day, 4 o'clock Eastern. So be sure to tune in. Be sure to share it. We also have our NCAA basketball video out there as well, covering the same topic, totals. That one's been going pretty well, but the last couple days not so great. Yesterday we were 1-1 in our picks, losing with Golden State and Cleveland. We had the over in that one, which was way over the first half, but Golden State just blew them out too much, and Cleveland didn't show up at all. Second half was really low, and then we had the over with Utah and Phoenix. So let's go ahead, adjust my camera a touch, and make sure this is recording okay, and have a drink of coffee, and let's get down to some totals. Don't forget sbrpicks.com, sportsbook review, sign-up bonuses, blacklist, it's all there. So be sure to check that out. And I'll get back to your comments. If guys are tuning in here, we'll go ahead and get some comments back to you towards the end of the video, which should be about 10 minutes. All right, here we go. First one up we got is Toronto and Brooklyn. They just bet up a few days ago and went absolutely bananas. Right now, oddsmakers have it at 227, and I'm going under this total. When we look at their last game, 132 to 113. But in the fourth quarter, they scored 64 points. That's ridiculous. I don't think that's going to happen again today. That 227 is a bit too much. Now, Toronto really just kind of ran the floor with them, getting up 97 attempts in that matchup. Brooklyn, they've been really fast-paced this year. You know, I think Atkinson's actually a pretty good coach. He came over from Atlanta as an assistant, and he does a nice job. They just don't have anybody. They could score, and they play no defense. But in that matchup, they shot 46.5% for the field. Toronto shot 53.6%. And then you got Brooklyn shooting 47% from distance, while Toronto shot 40% from distance. I mean, some really, really high numbers. They got to the free throw line just 40 times. Turnovers weren't really a factor. But still, I mean, they went absolutely bananas, and they ended up scoring 245 points. I don't think they're going to be able to repeat that performance. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back under the total in this one. It'll probably hover around 220 by the end. But for them to get, I mean, look, again, the second half, excuse me, I said they scored 64 points in the fourth quarter. They scored 72 points in the third. That's incredible. I just don't think they could do that again. I mean, that's some really high scoring. Maybe they do. Maybe they go for 250. But I'm going to go ahead. I think the smart play here is on the under. I mean, odds makers with Toronto and Brooklyn, the last 2 times they've met up, we had a 224.5 and a 225.5. Now they've gone up to 227. There was an under and an over. I think it's going to end up closer around 220. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take under that 227, which makes sense, but I think it's just a little bit too much. All right, let's go ahead. I could get into some more statistics, but we got to move on. We got 2 other plays. Brooklyn, one of the worst defensive teams statistically across the board in the NBA. Toronto, one of the best, top 5 offensively. Casey's got a completely different dynamic this year, so they're not playing a ton of defense. So this could get to 240, but I'm going to take a shot with the under here, at 227. All right, next one up, we got Chicago over the 197. I see some guys, you guys are commenting. I'll get to those right towards the end, but let me go ahead. Let's start breaking down some. Let me finish my breakdowns. All right, next one we got is so the next 2 we have Dallas and Chicago. And much to my chagrin, I had this dialed in at 196. It went up to 197, but I'm still going over. And the next play is actually the opposite. So, you know, it goes both ways sometimes as far as where I want it and then where the line moves. You know, sometimes public opinion goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Or the way the line moves is what I mean. Chicago and Dallas, I'm going to go over this total. Now, last time they met up, we had Chicago visited Dallas, and Dallas smashed them 107 to 82. If you've noticed, Dallas is starting to play a little bit better basketball over the last couple of weeks after, you know, they're starting to get healthy. But in that matchup, you know, Chicago, they scored 18 points in the first quarter, 16 points in the fourth quarter. They're a bit better than that. They've been picking up tempo just a little bit more in that matchup with Dallas. Now they're at home, so they should be able to score some points. They only got up 71 attempts. That's really, really low. They shot 45% from the field, but only 23% from distance. That kind of makes some sense though, because percentage-wise, they are the worst three-point, or the second to last. They're last or second to last in three-point shooting percentage. They're a really bad three-point shooting team. I mean, they made 3 of 13 in that matchup. But I like for this to get up and down. That 197, especially since the last matchup we had it at 189. But when we break it down even more, we look at Dallas and Chicago. I mean, the last matchup they had was 189, and they pushed at that total. But before, odds makers have made the totals decently high on these two teams: 201, 201, 203, 203, and then a 193.5 back in 2014. But 197, it's gone up just a little bit from that 196. That's fine, because statistically, Dallas is not playing a lot of defense. Chicago is playing actually a little bit of defense this year, and Dallas cannot score, which is a little bit, kind of gives me a little bit of pause. But still, I think they're going to be able to score enough, because right now they're shooting 48% of their 2-point shots, and they're shooting 35.3% from distance. They're right in the middle of the league. That's not that bad. As they start to get healthy, I think they're going to, start to score more points, as we've seen the last few weeks. I mean, let's look at Dallas. Just over their last few games here, they scored 98 against Minnesota, 113 against Phoenix. Then they lost to Minnesota. They only scored 92, 82 against Atlanta. That was really bad, but Atlanta could play some D. Phoenix, they scored 95. Washington, 113. Golden State, they scored 99. Lakers, 101. I mean, they've been putting up, close to, 95, 100 points. And that's what we want to see to get to this 197. I think Chicago is going to be able to score, although they haven't recently really put up that many points over their last 10 games, but their last two, 108 versus Memphis, 107 versus New Orleans. So I like for this to get over that 197, even though Dallas is a pretty slow tempo team. The game is in Chicago. I think they're going to get up and down. I'm going to go over that 197. All right, last one up. This is the line that went the other way. I had it dialed in at the under, and that's the Denver game. Denver versus the Lakers. Oddsmakers started at 228. It's now at 230. I'm going under. And I could give you a lot. This is the first time they've matched up this year. The Lakers have just been, they're going nuts as far as scoring is concerned. But this is the reason why. Denver's been going absolutely bananas scoring wise, and I have just been shocked. They've gone over 4, 5, 6. They've gone over their last 7 contests. I think they're due for an under. At 230, that's a lot of points. And you're talking about a Lakers team and a Denver team that, although they get up and down the floor and they don't play a ton of defense, their shooting percentages are not that great. And let me tell you what I mean as soon as I break out my statistics here. So 230 is a lot of points. Right now, Denver, they're averaging 109.3 points per game. They're always 4th in the league. Lakers 104.3, that ranks 18th. Not bad at all, but their shooting percentages are not that great. You got Denver shooting 45.8% from the floor. That ranks right in the middle of the league. The Lakers 44.6%. That ranks in the bottom half of the league. So, although they're pushing tempo, really they rank 3rd and 10th in the league as far as field goal attempts per game. That's 230, man. I mean, they're really going to have to score. Defensively, they're statistically, two of the worst teams in the league. And right now, Denver does rank 1st in points in the paint. So they're getting to the rack, and they're scoring in the interior. But still, that 230, I think it's too much. They might go 240, 250, really. But the fact that Denver's gone over the last 7 games, I think they're due for an under game. If they go over, that'll be fantastic. I mean, wow, that'd be 8 in a row they've gone over. But I don't think they get there. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to back under that 230. And what's going to be a fast-paced affair, and they're going to score a lot. Just like Brooklyn and Toronto, I just don't think they get to 230. That's it. All right, let's go ahead. Let's break that down one more time. I'll get some comments. Get a swig of coffee. All right, so we got Toronto and Brooklyn. We're going under the 227. Chicago and Dallas over the 197. And Denver and the Lakers under the 230. All right, let's see what we got here for some comments. Sorry, this thing's kind of messing up on me. I don't speak Spanish, so I can't read that. Let's talk about that Spurs over. What is that Spurs line at? Gosh, that's against Minnesota. I don't know how the Spurs are going to react because they lost to Phoenix in Mexico. They could come out and smash Minnesota or just lock them down. I don't know. It's gone from 202 to 200. If I was going to make a play on that, I'd take the under. And I'd stay off the line because I just don't know which way it's going to go. Let's talk about some spreads real quick. So I'm not getting a ton of comments here. So Spurs on the over, I don't know. Team totals, I try to stay away from. Those specialty plays. I haven't really, over my years of handicapping, I haven't really gotten into those. So could Chicago score over 101? Yeah, maybe. Let's talk about the spread real quick. I'll have to, the analysis stuff. That's something maybe we can message or something like that. Okay, so I use Sportsbook Review. That's what I use. Of course, just look at the lines, man. It's all there. Sportsbook Review. As far as the spreads are concerned, I got nothing. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, I would say if anything, maybe I'd grab Brooklyn plus the points, plus the 11.5. But really, there's nothing that's outstanding. I kind of like Miami. Actually, I liked them a lot more yesterday. Now it's kind of give me a little bit of pause because the line's gone from 7.5 to 8.5. Houston's really good, but yeah, Miami. I like Miami getting the points. I like Miami getting the points. What else we got here? Dallas and Chicago. We got them at 6. That seems about right. I don't know, man. Chicago. Gosh, I think Butler's back. I don't think they can lay that many points. Somebody mentioned that, I believe, on the thing. Houston, they could win that game by double digits, but I'd take the point. I'm more of a taking the points sort of guy, unless the Golden State's in the equation. But that's really it. Lakers have no business being favorites over anybody. Oh no, they went from favorite to a dog. Now they're +1. But yeah, I got nothing on the spreads today. Okay, so again, recap: Toronto under 227, Chicago over 197, Denver under the 230. Also, our NCAA plays are out there. Kind of rough last couple of days, but be sure to check it out. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So thanks for the comments, guys, and I wish you luck on all your picks today.